I mean, I knew about it, and as did his close friends, but the day he showed up at TNA, I was so glad because I said, God, there's no way that this guy isn't going to turn this around, but man, that was a ship that had already sailed. I mean, Bruce, it was, you have to admit, it was rough there. Holy cow.
Not rough. It was rough. Huh? It was rough because, unfortunately, you didn't have the backing and you didn't have the tools to turn around. You had the talent.
Yeah.
You had the knowledge.
Yeah, but I think one of the most difficult things for me was, as nice as she is, and she is a nice person, Dixie's communication to the talent and what was actually going on was just light years apart from what was really taking place. Would you agree with that, Bruce?
Oh, wholeheartily. It was rough.
I mean, Bruce could tell
right there.
Bruce could tell somebody something, and in that role, it should be, in a role that I've worked under, and it should be like that. This is the bottom line. It's it. But then, Bruce had to deal with Hulk, and on came Eric, and then in came Russo, and Bruce has got all this to deal with. And then he's got Dixie out in the parking lot, and I don't know why to this day she likes to pull the talent aside, or the talent will pull her aside, whichever way it goes, and they'll make a deal with her. And, of course, she doesn't relay it to Bruce. Well, Dixie told me this, and, I mean, I've been through that with her, you know what I mean? It's just strange. And it's not malicious. It's just a very difficult way to do business after you've been in the professional atmosphere of the WWE. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, that's fair. And you really just summed it up, because it was difficult to do your job when after you would put something into motion, something else would be put into motion, and you never even knew about it until it was way after the fact or too late.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, what's this? Oh, well, I talked to him, and don't worry about it. Wait a minute, I got to balance the budget here. I got to do all this stuff. Don't worry about it. Yeah,
don't worry about it.
Bruce, do you have an example of a story like that where you were kind of heading in one direction and found out after the fact that was no longer the direction?
Wow. Unfortunately, there were too many to even remember. But a lot of times there were things that, to sum it all up, out of, let's say, 50 talent on the roster, you had, well, when I started, I want to say there were 7 or 8 different versions of contracts, and they were all completely different. And there were instances where talent was guaranteed 150 dates, but they were only able to work 70, because they only ran 70 events. They got a contract for 150. There were just so many things like that unfortunately, there were different people at different times in that position that things got grandfathered in, and, the right hand a lot of times didn't know what the left hand was doing, and people would just go into business for themselves. And then it was challenging, to deal with an office in Dallas, Texas, that's an energy company that builds power plants, that doesn't understand the wrestling business or the entertainment business.
Yeah.
It doesn't understand the nuances. To them, an independent contractor is a plumber. So when one independent contractor is gone, you just replace him with another. That's not how you do it with talent. There may be independent contractors, but they're talent. Ric Flair goes, I can't just replace him with another independent contractor.
Yeah.
And have the same thing.
Yeah, Bruce, let me ask you a question. I'm trying to figure out, because I hear about it, Conrad is on top of it a lot, and then I hear about it if I'm around the guys, which I am a fair amount of the time. Like I'm, going to New York tomorrow with Conrad for the whole week to see my daughter for SummerSlam. But is there I'm trying to figure out, how does Jarrett keep getting back there? Wasn't he on the show the other night?
Yeah, you got me.
I mean, what is the deal? I mean, after all the things up and down and the stuff with Kurt and Dixie and, I mean, I don't even begin to know. Personally, I like Jeff. But I just know that there's been, some misgivings in the way that place was run for a long time. And some people made a lot of money, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's a head-scratcher.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really a head-scratcher.
Yeah, I see that. And what's your take on that?
I don't have anything nice to say, so